Hello, so here's my Hexarchy candidate platform submission. This is the sheet that I showed earlier. Let's start with number 1, the tax rate changes proposals. None, everything's looking good for now. I can't really think of anything. Maybe something will change between now and the deadline, which is April 1st, I believe. Constitution changes. This is a couple for the sociopath court, making 3 out of 3 jury requirement for conviction, and having 3 strikes to be eligible to removal. So right now it's 2 out of 3. It's a little too weak, I think, to paint someone as a sociopath. And this is also 2 strikes for removal, which I think is not forgiving enough. So it makes the sociopath court a little unbalanced, a little too witch hunty, sort of, if you get what I'm saying. And this is a little bit of balancing, I think. Then number 2, a member of the Hexarchy resigning or dying results in the 7th, 8th, etc. candidate being hired. So shout out to Sheba for proposing this one, and I'm going to steal her idea with creditation, with a little credit given. Maybe she can run and point that out for everyone. Large public project proposals, a planetarium, I think would be fun. Shout out to T for suggesting this one. I think it would be a cool. I don't know how much they cost, but that'll factor into that'll be displayed when you vote at the direct democracy process. They'll have the total cost of the project, and then also divide by the number of residents, so the one-time fee will also be known. This one's a little more important, a little more utilitarian. Digging a lake as a water source. It's essentially a giant well for the city, and then we can use water sports or do water sports in that lake once it's finished and filled up. Do some fishing as well. I don't know the exact size. We can expand upon it later as we grow. Moving on, types of employees sought for immigration council. Spiritual and laid back. Generally just laid back people. Maybe someone who's a good judge of character as well, because this is what they're going to be doing as a responsibility. I will be doing the interview process for the immigration council, or the Hexarchy will be doing the interview process, and then the immigration council will be doing the interview process for new residents. So there's like a hierarchy. Types of employees sought for development council. Proven skills via projects. This could be like the actual thing developed itself, or YouTube video, or any kind of proof that you did it, or maybe some professional experience will also be factored in. When we're small, we will take what we can get, essentially. We'll be a little more, our standards will be lower, is what I'm trying to say. And then if we get to like 1,000 people, we can get better and better talent for the development council. The thing is though, you're gonna be very busy in the beginning of the city development, especially in the start. It'll be very difficult. This will be a very difficult position. So it will pay pretty well, and it'll be very demanding, and we will remember the sacrifices and achievements made by the early development council, for sure. Artistic council gets harder as the city grows, because then you have more projects and more responsibilities to do. So in the beginning, it's more fun and laid back. Same thing, proven skills via projects, or someone with really good taste. This is my personal preferences right here. I like classical, Baroque, Art Nouveau, Art Deco, stuff like that. Victorian's similar to Baroque, isn't it? They're kind of like overlapping. But anyway, that's very nice. If you want to get more experimental, that's perfectly fine, especially if I like it. And a lot of the more experimental art forms, especially for interiors or architecture, a lot of them don't really have names. Or if they do have names, I'm not aware of the names, so I can't properly label them. But I'm okay with futurism if it's done, if it has a certain style to it. And futurism will probably be more for interiors. We could do a futurism exterior, but only for certain neighborhoods. So this will be a conversation between the Development Council and the Artistic Council about which neighborhood has which artistic style. But remember, the interiors are basically up to the residents. And we can make some suggestions for zoning. We can take a leadership position for interior artistic zoning, and then the residents will follow through. For criminal court, honest person with a forgiving personality, the vast majority of crimes will be probably 6 months in jail or less. 6 months in jail, you're talking about things like assault or stabbings. I hope would not happen, but a stabbing might be more than 6 months. But assault would probably be like, 1 to 3 months, something like that. So, yeah. Rape and murder in the Constitution, if it happens, unfortunately, it's probably a matter of time. We would probably hand you over to the US government, and then you go away for 10 years or whatever it is, 15 years. Types of judges sought for criminal court, or civil court, sorry. Analytical, organized, and can smell bullshit. Because remember, this is like things like fraud. You gotta be able to smell bullshit in civil court. I guess with criminal court too, right? Because they're arguing for innocence. So, closing thoughts. Everyone try and take this seriously. These words and ideas are as real as the US Constitution. Popularity ultimately is an illusion, much like power. Right? This reminds me of that quote from Game of Thrones, where I forgot all of the character names. Those slipped my mind. But he says that power is an illusion, much like a shadow. Well, popularity is an illusion, much like a shadow. Plus, you have to start somewhere, right? Every new idea or movement starts with a following or acceptance of one person. And then it has to go viral. It has to disseminate from that one person. So this is a collection of ideas, a collection, worldview, and a legal system, etc., etc., etc. And all of those ideas and all of those words are as real as the U.S. Constitution. It's important to remember this. It's important to keep that in mind. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. Remember, your submissions can be more laid back than this. I mean, this is this took me like an hour. So yeah. You can copy some of these if you want, but don't copy try not to copy the whole thing. I mean, I stole some of these ideas, right? So I'm kind of being a hypocrite anyway right now. So yeah. I hope you vote for me, but not everyone vote for me. So like it's possible that I'm going to win, but I don't want 100% of the votes, right? And watch the other candidates. I'm sure they'll do well, and I'm sure they might surprise you and do great in the Hexarchy. And remember, a single dream is more powerful than 1,000 realities.